award-winning show in Houston, Texas. The one, the only Sean Salisbury. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? How was your show, Sean?
My show was great. Just ask me. Yeah, it was good. We're in the getting prepared for spring training as the reigning World Series champs, but it's probably more enthusiasm, guys, here. I haven't seen more enthusiasm here as far as football goes, especially for a team that's picking second in the draft, since Watson took over as the starting quarterback. Now, we know how that ended, but when he took over as the starting quarterback, there was hope. It was like, oh, my gosh, there's a new level. Now, that's of getting Ryan here, who played here and who is held in high regard not only by here but by everybody in the league. And then having the second pick of the draft, the 12th pick of the draft, and so about, eight or so good young players and a couple veterans. There's some, I imagine, Jacksonville excitement like they had when Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. So that's a lot of the conversation right now. Are they going to get D'Amico Ryan's deal done?
We're talking with Sean Salisbury, and all guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Sean, out here, everybody's talking about the Niners and the incomplete feeling of the championship game because, as you know, the quarterback casualties that happen. So let's kind of go through that. If you're the Niners and you now know the UCL injury for Brock Purdy, you still have Trey Lance. Jimmy G is likely not on the team, but do you address and go get another quarterback, a Rodgers, Brady, ride some of these young guys? How would you handle the future of that quarterback position if you're the 49ers?
Well, I didn't read a lot last night and then this morning about the 49ers quarterback situation because I was looking at the results of Brock Purdy and didn't pay attention to what some of the national insiders were saying. And on my show this morning, we brought it up just about the playoffs and, man, what it was the way it turned for Kyle Shanahan. Again, I mean, you're 4 quarterbacks in during the season. It's like, good with this type of roster, and now you're going to lose your defensive coordinator more than likely. I mean, and some of the coaches on it. And so you think about the quarterback situation. And I this morning, and I guess other people are also discussing it, and maybe this is just, it's not a hot topic, but maybe it's a common topic, is think about this now. Purdy, minimum 6 months, and if they have to reconstruct it, it'll be longer, with the Tommy John, depending, and hopefully they won't. Lance coming off an injury, supposed to be ready by OTAs, but we haven't seen a lot from him. And did they find out enough about the future for Brock Purdy to say, now when I say expendable, that you can go get an asset for Trey Lance, whether it's Tennessee or a Jets or somewhere else, and trade and get an asset back, and then jump in with Jimmy gone? There's no pathway to stop Tom Brady from there. The Rodgers thing sounds great, but you got to pay $50 million. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to you're going to have to give the asset up that you want, which you gave a lot away for Trey Lance. So there's a lot of red tape to cut through. And then salary cap with Brady, you get a guy who threw for, mid 4,000s again. He's going to have a great roster, offensive line protection. They got great weapons. Why not? Why not a year and Brock Purdy comes back and says, okay, while I'm rehabbing, I can be the backup when I'm healthy. If not, you keep, you find a backup and you say, well, let's see if we can go with Brady, hometown guy. What's not to like? Because Brady right now would be the best quarterback on their roster. No disrespect to Brock Purdy, but why not? Then you don't have to trade anything. He's a free agent. So if in fact you weren't comfortable with the Purdy injury and you thought, Jimmy, we know he's leaving, he wants to start, and you got Trey Lance there and he's coming off an injury, and you say, you know what, Brock's our future. If that's the way you felt, go get an asset and go get Brady and make him an offer and let him come home. There's no chasm. There's no way to stop it if he wants to come and you want him, and he's not going to ask for $40 million. Right. I think that he's a guy who's taking less money everywhere. So they got a lot to think about, and it's just a bummer how this ended for them this year.
Sean Salisbury with us. Sean, it's a pointless sports radio question. I'm just curious as to how you think, because we're split on the show. Jason and Jay say yes. I say no. I'm curious for you, if Brock Purdy was healthy the entire game, do you think that would have made a difference in the outcome of the game?
Oh, I think about the
This is usually right where we lose.
The Philadelphia Eagles. And hell, yes, it would have made a difference. Yes, it would have made a difference. You got me?
Yeah. Sorry, you cut out for about. We got you. If you can hear us. Yeah. We always lose you for about 3 seconds right at the same time.
I just heard somebody say something.
Yeah. No, you're back, buddy.
Yeah, I got the question. What I was going to say is that Purdy gave me no reason to think otherwise that it would have been I don't know about a different result, but it would have been competitive. It would have been better. The game would have been closer as long as he played like he has. You've had to defend more. Your offense would have been far more expanded to push the ball down the field. Now, Philadelphia is the most complete team in the NFL. They have been from start to finish this year, and it's no different. They're a more complete team than the Chiefs are. It's just you got that guy named Mahomes who is a great equalizer or outlier, but there's no weakness on the Eagles football team. But I also know there's very few weaknesses on the 49ers as well. It would have been far more competitive. I went into the game saying both the championship games would have been fourth quarter games. I do not believe it would have been a blowout. And had they have changed that call early on the Devontae Smith, if it would have been challenged and Purdy played the whole game and didn't get hurt, yeah, we may be looking at a different result. But even if not a different result, far more competitive.
Sean, this is definitely second guessing now. It probably would not have mattered, obviously, but would the Niners have been better off trying McCaffrey and the Wildcat earlier, or Debo, they were a really helpless situation, but looking back at it, should they have done something else knowing that Purdy wasn't going to be able to throw at all?
Yeah, when you knew with the nerve and with his elbow that he wasn't going to be able to throw other than screens, with Jonathan Gannon and the way their defense is and how good Philadelphia is, that's the true form of one-dimensional. You knew they could do nothing, so you could attack it any way you wanted without the threat of worrying about the ball was going to travel more than 5 yards. I would have. And I know it's 2020, but when your backup goes down and you can't throw the ball and everybody knows it, because if he could have thrown it, he'd have come back in sooner. I would have probably put, whoever had the better arm between the two and let the other guy be the back. But get started downhill, and you could have done both. Use McCaffrey and Debo like that. The problem is, can you get the plays out? Can they call them and understand? When you're a certain position player, you're listening for offensive lines, listening for protection calls and direction. The running back's looking for, okay, this is 28 if we're running toss sweep or whatever it is, the lingo they're using. That's what you listen for. When you're calling the plays and reading it off a wristband, can you go through all the reads? But even if you don't throw it, I think you would have had a better chance running it as well with the quarterback and inside zone and turned it into a triple option type of thing. They probably would have had more success, but it wouldn't have mattered. Once Purdy went down, they weren't winning that football game.
Last thing for you, Sean. Kyle Shanahan, everyone wants someone to blame. I have shied against that, but I want to ask you this. Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, Josh Johnson might have been fluky. In your opinion, when you're breaking down film, does Kyle Shanahan deserve any blame, and could he do better in protecting his quarterbacks based on how he calls the games? Do you buy into that at all?
No, I don't. Now he's had some. I do buy into the fact that let's sans this game here. That Kyle's got to prove, like quarterbacks do, as a head coach and even as a coordinator, that he can win a champ. Don't we question? Well, is Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Aaron Rodgers has only won one? The head coach is in the same category.
Yeah.
So Kyle has got, from Atlanta to the opportunities here of being in position. That falls on a coach too, but Kyle Shanahan's a great football coach. But in this game in particular, or the injuries in the past, come on now. So you're going to tell me that the guy was blocking the guy, he ran right by the tackle, and you got to drop back and throw it sometime, and he hit him in a spot that's unfortunate. That is a lazy narrative and somebody that's looking for trouble and controversy and their excuse. Listen, I don't like giving hall passes out, but once he went down, I guess the one thing you could have said is too bad they didn't have a third quarterback on the roster.
Yeah.
But Kyle Shanahan's a brilliant play caller. Listen, the players got to do their job too. If it's one-on-one blocking, your ass has got to block the guy. That's your job. So freak injury, somebody getting hurt, I don't think anybody's going to, at least the people who are in the know, are not going to point to Kyle Shanahan and say he's putting his player in harm's way. I don't buy that one bit. It was an unfortunate stroke of luck, and there is a hall pass because there's not a coach in the league that would have won this football game against the Eagles with the way they were down to no quarterback.
That's Sean Salisbury each and every Tuesday right around 8:13. Appreciate you as always, my man. We'll talk to you in a week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, take care of that, Sean Salisbury. We will take a break. When we come back, big bench moves last night in Minneapolis. We'll hear from Malik